Hello again, Jazzy. I am back. I am here for episode 4. Thanks again to Cal for filling in for me last month, hosting Hostess with the Mostesses. Yes. Cal of Calentry, and then changed their username. I'm like, oh, did I ruin it for you?
It's the saddest thing ever. I'm like, now you're not Cal of Calentry anymore, but okay.
You're gay of Gay Gem Theirs. So new username alert. Cal is at Gay Gem Theirs. Very clever. And so we're back for episode 4. Today, instead of the new segment, because nothing really happened. We are almost at 400 members in the server, though. We're at like 390 something. Like, we're very close.
Gosh.
And it's almost the 1-year anniversary of the server, so it's going to be exciting. But nothing really happened in January to talk about. But
worth talking about.
Yeah, in lieu of that, I posted on Tumblr, send me your AOT salt. We're going to get salty up in here. Send us your salty opinions, your unpopular opinions, your hot takes, all that. Send them to me. And you did. Thank you very much. And we are going to go through them one by one and talk about them, just like we said we would. But first, we have our lovely guests for today. Who do we have?
So we have our lovely RK. Thank you so much for joining us on this podcast. Love you so much. RK can be found at, how do you say, what's RK's user?
djmarinezealablog. It's at the very top. I wrote it out.
Yeah, but I don't know how to. But thank you for saying that. That is RK's username on pretty much all of her platforms, I'm pretty sure. But we love RK. And then we also have Drew, who is Sordid Bones or Bitter Bones. I forgot which one it was.
Oh, true. Yeah. It's Bitter Bones on AO3. Sordid Bones is Tumblr.
Bitter Bones and Sordid Bones are both Drew, and Drew is amazing. Drew contributes so much to this fandom, and every time I see them on my dash or on AO3, I'm like, oh my god, that's my bestie. But yes, thank you so much for joining us, Drew.
You said that they contribute so much to the fandom. Like, I feel like they write as often as Julia draws. Like,
this is true.
They're both powerhouses. Holy crap.
This is true.
I wish. I wish.
Yeah, I'm actually amazed. Every time very rarely now because life, but every time I go on Twitter or AO3, there's always a new art piece from Julia, and then there's always a new fic from Drew. I'm like, you guys are pumping this stuff out like
it's your job. Like, you're getting paid to do this. And yes. I admire. I admire so much.
And also, just as a little thing from me, my favorite fic, I love all of the fics from them, so read all of their fic. But my favorite fic from RK is Free Falling, so please read Free Falling, everybody. And my favorite fic from Drew is Meet Me Beyond the Sea. Please read those.
Yes, Meet Me Beyond the Sea. I love that one. I haven't read Free Falling yet because I'm afraid of heights. But it is on the list, and I've seen so much art inspired by that one that you know it's good when you get like the artists that are like, this is something I read and then I produced it. It's amazing. So I am excited. I will read it. Anyway. And then also, like always, we do have our very own Angel reading an excerpt of a fic from each of these authors. So we shall just jump right into that. Go right ahead. Thank you, Ness. Take it away.
Hello everyone, I am Ness, Glasses and Swords and Tumblr and AO3, and today I am with the amazing DJ Marinezala, aka Ate Ake. It's amazing to have you here, Ate Ake.
Hi Ness, thank you for having me. It's an honor to be interviewed by you.
Thank you so much for taking time to come and talk to me. How did you start getting interested in like Attack on Titan, and when did you start writing for Levi Han?
Okay, so I started Attack on Titan in 2019, and then I started watching the anime first. I think it was during the 3rd season when I joined, and then I got married, and then the pandemic happened, so I figured I wanted to start doing something that I would enjoy for quite a while. So that's when I started writing fan fiction as well. And then apparently there's already like a huge readership for Levi and Hanji, and a lot of the writers that I have come to admire, Fan Moose and Sundra in Africa, pretty much like the pioneers of fanfics when it comes to the Levi Han fandom. So I decided I want to try my hand at writing. So I started with SOS first, actually, which is like very It's like a comedy fan fiction because I needed something to distract myself from the angst. And then afterwards, I wanted to write like a rom. So that's when I started drafting Free Falling. You guys are familiar with it. It's my first like, chapter fic that I've actually finished. Now here we are.
I was reading Free Falling. It was my vacation read, but that was amazing. It was so good. I was a fangirl about it. I also wanted to ask you, what goes behind the research for the fics that you write? Like, for example, in Free Falling, you had a lot of terminologies that were related to like skydiving. So, how did you come across this idea, as well as how did you plan about in writing it?
So for Free Falling, I was particularly interested in skydiving. During those moments, I watch a ton of YouTube videos where people are just jumping out of the plane. So I was like trying to watch these videos, and I was like, if I were to write a story about this, how would I describe the scenes? How would I describe the stunts? Every time they jump out of the plane, what's the feeling? What do they see? What are the sights and sounds? And they just kind of go together, being able to visualize and imagine how Levi as a skydiver would actually jump out of a plane and just be excited about all the sights and sounds whenever he's like falling in midair and doing free fall, as they call it, in skydiving. So I researched a lot of terminologies as well, like what are the skydiving terms, what do you call the gear, what do you call the strap that they use when they do a parachute land, how do they do it? When it comes to like the science terms, since Hanji in that story is doing their PhD, if Hanji like stress about finishing your final dissertation for your degree, well, what are the things that you're supposed to be like stressing about? So I was like Googling a lot of physics thesis papers.
Oh my god.
Dissertation titles. It's really a lot of research. Do that for like all of the stories that I write for Handle with Care. Levi is a lawyer, so I'm trying to figure out what are the terminologies that a lawyer would use. What happens when someone does drafts an appellate or like a case? What happens if Levi is like divorce case for Erwin? So on and so forth. And then for Trip Down Summer, it's about surfing and has this very tropical beach vibes that reminds me of the Philippines where I'm from. And it's very reminiscent of like the tropical vibes, lots of waters, lots of white sand, clear waters, blue skies. And then with Levi being a surfer in that story, how do you describe the different suns? It's the same thing as in Free Falling. What's the feeling whenever he and Hanji are surfing through the waters? How does it feel? What do they see? And stuff like that. So it's really up to us as writers to indulge our readers into like the world that we're building for them. And how do we like guide them throughout the story and through the plot that we create for them. So
I absolutely enjoyed it because it really felt like I was taking the free falling dive while reading it. Like I could feel my adrenaline like pumping at that time. And have you ever been skydiving yourself though?
No, it's funny because my husband has been like invited. He's been like planning to do one with his friends, and they're like planning to drag me along. But it never happened because of the pandemic and all that stuff.
Oh, yeah.
So hopefully when things really get better around here, we could actually do. There's like a skydiving center near our place here.
Oh, that's amazing! Can you tell us more about your latest work, Down with the Gold?
Okay, sure. So Down with the Gold is actually a combination of the three major ships that comprise Arurihan actually. So we have Erwin, Levi, and Hanji being treasure hunters in this jungle where they meet different people, different clans, different tribes. They meet the hunters and the warriors, and then they get entangled with this entire treasure hunting mystery. I'm not gonna spoil too much right now. All I can say is that please read it and support it if you can.
I am so excited to read Down with Gold after Free Falling because, oh my gosh, it has Elhan!
Exactly. And I love treasure hunting stories. I've watched too many National Treasure, and I've seen Uncharted, the game that inspired it. So I'm really excited finishing the entire story. A lot of friends have actually given me like plot points on how to go about the story itself. They've given me like advice, the different chapters. And I'm really thankful for all the people who do that. I think it's a wonderful thing about being an author, and being friends with fellow writers and artists. Two of my friends, Mel Ackermel on Twitter and Zobian on Twitter, actually made some fan arts to go with Down with the Ghost. If you guys want to view that,
Oh
you
my
may check out the
gosh.
pic.
Oh my gosh. And yes, you have like around 20 works in your archive of our own. Which one are you the most proud of? Like, do you have like a list of your top 3 or your top 5 works?
So a lot of people are familiar with the multi-chapters. I usually try to update it every month or so. So I'm gonna focus more on the one-shots. It's usually the ones that I just publish and I don't look back, let people like read it whenever they have the time. So one of the earlier Levi Han stories that I wrote is Sycamores. It's actually like a post-canon story where Levi and Hanji finally meet in the afterlife. I mean, I tag it as major character death, but I swear it's a happy ending story. So please don't be too scared of the tag and just read it as much as you can. How I was able to like develop the story itself and how these two people who are so in love with each other have to make sure that they find each other in whatever lifetime. I won't spoil too much if you haven't seen it yet, if you haven't read it yet. So just go ahead and check it out on AOV. I remember Rika was the one who actually read it before and then did like a better. She left like a super comprehensive comment about it. Hi Rika, Rika, aka Pick Weird Sunsets,
AKA Satan.
Wouldn't be this tight fun of a community without her and
I
the
know.
server that she created.
Rika appreciation, but also like Rika slander affectionately.
Yeah, give yourself credit. Ever since like I read most of your meta essays on Tumblr, I've been like so indulged in the relationship between Levi and Hanji and how other people in the fandom see them, whether it's in canon or whether it's in their AUs. I really enjoy whenever people make a spin in their relationship and they're able to like create a different world altogether in their stories and in their fan art. So yes, top to you, Ness, as well. The rest of the people.
Thank you. One more thing I wanted to ask was that do you have any like particular writing rituals or like do you listen to music while you write or if so which kinds of music or does it like change according to the genre?
For me, I think I do listen to any kind of music whenever I'm writing. Sometimes you'll find me on the Discord server, writing in one of the voice channels, and then you guys are more than welcome to like join, hop in, and just vibe to the music.
Do you have like a particular playlist for it?
I do. I actually created this whole lab playlist with a bunch of Filipinos. It's called the Levi Han OPM playlist. OPM stands for Original Filipino Music. So these are like friends who also adore Levi Han. They in turn help me collate all these songs that remind them of Levi Han. So if you guys want to check that out, it's on Spotify. It's called Levi Han OPM.
That's awesome. We'll link it down. Also, what's your favorite Attack on Titan soundtrack?
Ooh. You know me, I like rap, so K21 is really one of my favorite songs.
Yes.
That boss music, whatever.
That's a really good one.
I still owe some of the Levi Hands a rap song, so I'll probably practice that one and then sing it this
That's
quarter.
true. You're like famous. All right, let's go to fun questions. So let's compile a list of questions to ask you. So first one is that you get to choose one activity for 24 hours to spend a day listening to Hanji talk about Titans or cleaning the barracks with Levi. Which one would you choose?
Well, I like cleaning. Maybe I guess I'll just choose. As much as I love Hanji, I think I'm gonna want to like chop my ears off if I have to like listen to Hanji talk about Titans all day. So I'll just go for the cleaning. Like if I can order me around the barracks all day, and I'll figure out a new cleaning solution. Maybe. You know?
What if you're cleaning with Levi and then Hanji comes in and she talks anyway?
Oh, there you go. Why not both? There you go.
The second question is, what would be your relationship advice to Levi and Hanji if you were their friend?
I feel like they need to give me advice about relationships. It's funny because I'm married to a wonderful person, the love of my life. Sometimes Levi Han really reminds me of my relationship with my husband. Like we bicker a lot. We just tease each other around a lot. But at the end of the day, we just love each other no matter what.
Oh, that's the best kind of relationship, honestly. So you're like, we're too similar for me to give them advice.
Yeah, just keep going.
Okay.
Keep loving each other. That's it. Levi and Hanji.
Just
You're doing great.
The third one is that you're about to be reincarnated and you can only choose a universe from your own Levi Han fix. So which story would you go into?
It's funny because Sue actually gave me this question like they gave me this sample question before. They actually gave me the answer that they wanted to hear as well. So props to you, Stu, but I didn't answer free falling. Imagine being part of the skydiving squad,
Oh
being
my
able to
gosh,
jump
the
with the
blonde
two of
squad.
them. Yep, exactly. And being able to jump and then free fall into like the clouds during sunset, and being able to hold hands with each other and watch Levi and Andrew kiss while falling in midair.
Yes!
Oh.
Are there any other Attack on Titan ships that you're fond of?
I like Arani. I think Armin
Oh, yeah.
and Annie's relationship is also the kind of relationship that just spilled over. And honestly, I feel like if the story extended past whatever the manga had in store for us, I feel like Armin and Annie's relationship could have been more fleshed out. But hey, that's what fan arts and fan fictions are for.
That is very true. They just look so good together, though. Like Armin and Annie, they are like the aesthetic Pinterest sort of couple. It just looks good. They look
Black
fine
people.
together. Alright, so the final one is, what's your favorite part of writing a fanfic?
You know what's funny? Because whenever I write a fanfic, it's always like 30%. It's only like 20% actually writing and more of like 80% doing anything else aside from writing. I don't know if you feel that. It's like, well, I'll do anything else aside from like actually finishing a chapter or like a
I
story.
feel you.
Maybe I'll watch a movie, maybe I'll listen to some music, maybe I'll do something else, clean the house, like, I don't know, anything that doesn't involve writing. But I think the best thing about it, because I work a full-time job and I usually do a lot of things around the house as well. So
How do you
basically,
manage everything like at the same time?
Ness. I don't know, Ness. How do you manage this fandom? How do you do it? I'm throwing that question back at. I think the best. I'm sure you probably have this experience as well, since I know you also write stories for the
Mhm.
Band fandom. But the moment when you finally realize how you're gonna write a certain scene, or like, I know this is the scene that I want to happen, and this is how it ties up with the rest of the story. It's like a eureka moment where you just shout like, "Yes, this is it! This is it! This is what I want to do! I want to do it!" And then you just forget about it and let it go.
Once you start writing it, you just forget about everything else. It's like,
Yeah,
yes.
exactly.
But then
Just
it
write
takes so
down.
much effort to like sit down and actually write it, like start writing it.
I think the best solution to combat that is just read a lot of other stuff and read other people's stories, other people's fan fiction, or like just consume any other kind of art that really inspires and motivates you to start working on your own. I think for me it works all the time. That's why I like reading other people's stories on fan fiction, and if I enjoy it, I really do leave a comment, tell them how much I enjoyed it, what they've written so far. Especially for the younger ones, I am a personal advocate of like inspiring the younger kids of the fandom to just pursue their art. Don't be embarrassed about what you do. If you think it's not gonna be perfect, if you think it's not gonna be received fandom, I guarantee you are gonna find someone who will appreciate whatever it is that you put out for the fandom, as long as it's like done well with the heart and you really enjoy whatever you did. I'm sure people are gonna appreciate that.
I honestly love this because I remember you were like one of the first people I knew who actually commented on one of my fics when I started out. So that really inspired me, and that just made me want to write more. It made me really happy. So thank you so much, Ate. You are the best.
I try. I try to be a big sister to everyone in the fandom.
You definitely are a big sis. All right. Thank you so much for taking your time to talk to me and being a part of our podcast. It's amazing to have you here.
Thank you for inviting me as well. I know we've been planning podcast interview for months.
All right. Thank you so much.
Darius the tribe chief's pants. Just another piece of trash for a gift. I am not. Hanji whispers, her soul ready and yet unable to break free. Later on, they give her the task of a water bearer, a job made by the nobles for the servants. Hanji refuses indignantly at first, but it was either that or death. The foreman hands her a clay jar engraved with the stories of their tribe. Go, Ness says, and don't come back until you've filled up the well. The jar is heavy as she carries it on her shoulder towards the sea. It's even heavier when she fills it with salt water to be purified later, the horizon stretching far beyond her. Hanji wonders what it's like to be free, to go wherever she pleases. She puts the huge pottery on her shoulder once more, attempts to find balance and the right footing but fails. The vessel slips out of her grasp, water pooling at her feet. Hanji causes her anger to the world. She tries to collect water again, the jar now chipped at the rim. But the moment the edge comes into contact with the surface, a pair of hands swiftly reach out from underneath and pull it away from her grasp. Hanji stumbles back in fear, but it quickly dissipates when she sees someone halfway rising from the water, her jar in his hands. She stares at his human figure, the first half of it at least, then at the goat horns on his head, then at the teal scales of his fishtail glistening in the sunset. A creature of the sea. "Who are you?" she asks him, but he doesn't respond. She calls out again, but the sea goat merely leaves the jar right by the sand before disappearing underneath the waves once more, his fishtail catching the light before it disappears. She goes again to the same spot the next day, and the creature is already waiting. He has walls that Hanji cannot see, and Hanji knows these kinds of barriers will have to one day break if she tries hard enough. When he comes near her as she kneels by the shore, he runs a finger along the surface of the jar, where the tribe has depicted the wars they've won and the riches they've gained. Hanji gives him a smile warm enough to reach both their hearts. "Would you like to hear a story?" He nods. Hanji then goes on to tell him stories of her family when they were still together, of her life as a slave, how she has been handed down from one tribe to another, and he listens, tail flipping here and there on the sand. They both hear a sound from the bushes behind them, and the sea goat jumps back into the water. Hanji cranes her neck to see a pig running loose and laughs, the first time she's done so in a very long time. This is the start of a friendship.
Thank you so much, guys. We'll carry on to our next interview. Ro, take it away for us, please.
Hello, welcome. It's Don't At Me Thanks. Ro here today with Bitter Bones, also known as Drew. Drew, say hello.
Hello. Hello. Hello.
Do you want to plug in your socials before we start?
On Twitter, I am at Bitterbones, BITT3RBONES, and on Tumblr, I am at Sorted Bones.
Okay, cool. So we're just gonna jump in that interview right now. I got the first question is, what has gotten you into Attack on Titan? Like, what was the first thing?
I watched it for the first time when I was like 14 in high school, and I watched the first half of the first season, which was all that was out at that point, and then I stopped watching it, and then my sister started watching it last year in the spring, so I was like, ooh, I should catch up and see what's happened, and I did, and then I became obsessed with it, and now here we are.
Okay, cool. 14 years old. Wow. Okay. So then what drew you into the Levihan show?
Okay,
right?
so this is really interesting. I did not ship it while I was watching the anime. I didn't have any ships while I was watching the anime. I was watching the anime pretty casually. And then one night, for some reason, I hyperfixated and I watched like 10 episodes. I stayed up until like 6 in the morning watching the second half or the first half of season 4. And as I was laying down to go to sleep, I had like one of those SpongeBob moments where your eyes fly open and they're like bloodshot. And you're like, I was like, leave my on.
Oh my
it was
God.
really intense.
So it was basically like hibernating inside of you or something.
Yeah, it was waiting in there. It was waiting there. And all of a sudden, I was like, oh my God, Levi and Hanji need... What can I say? What's my limit of an NSFW commentary?
I would say probably use innuendos or something.
Innuendo. They need to... Sideways polka is what they need to do. They need... They're in love.
I've never
They're in love.
Yes, they're in love. So if you were to pick out of all the headcanons that exist, what would be like your most favorite headcanons of them?
Oh God, it's really angsty. My favorite headcanon is that Hanji was pregnant when they sacrificed themselves.
Oh my God. Well,
yeah.
I didn't need another reason to cry tonight, but thank you for that.
You're welcome.
Is there like any reason that you have a headcanon?
It's so angsty, and it just adds to like the agony that Levi experiences. Like, I even wrote one time a fic where Hanji's ghost came to him afterwards and was like, yeah, I was pregnant. He was like, holy shit.
As if Levi didn't need another reason to suffer.
Listen, I love making Levi suffer. It brings me joy. I don't know why. I'm like the opposite of Oh no, I am the same as what's her face, Sav, Tundra in Africa. I prefer to torture him emotionally as opposed to physically.
Oh my, what has he done to you guys?
I don't know. He
Except
just
for
deserves
this.
it, I think.
Okay,
He's too hot. I
so-
can't deal with him. I can't deal with him. Anyways, next question.
Anyways, do you ship anything prior to Levihan? Like, are there any similarities to Levihan in that ship that you realize
No,
now?
back when I was first watching it when I was 14, I shipped Aaron and Annie together. But because I love enemies to lovers also, but there was great angst potential there. And I think the only similarity is Hanji and Annie have similar noses. That's it.
Like, any ships outside of Attack on Titan?
Do I out myself? Do I say it? I
We can
ship a certain Star Wars ship that is not super popular, and a lot of people hate it because it's kind of
Okay.
problematic, and I'll leave it at that.
Okay, moving on. Do you ship anything else other than Levihan at the moment?
K-Vi from Arcane.
Yes, that's a good one. Top 3 AOT characters and why?
Hanji, Levi, Irwin, they're all super fucking hot.
I agree with that, and it's a great trio.
Oh my god, they're an amazing trio. They're the best trio.
Okay, so next question is about your username on your socials. Why Bitterbones?
Well, I wanted something with alliteration. My original AO3, which I deleted a few years ago and then I remade, was also Bitterbones. And I also, I used to want to be an anthropologist, which has a lot to do with bones. So I was like, bones. Yay. Bitterbones. Cool.
It's a nice handle. What made you decide to start writing for Levihan?
The sheer horniness that lived inside of me. Oh, am I allowed to say that?
Yeah, it's fine. I mean, that's valid. It's a valid reason. Like, I do remember when I first started seeing your work, it just came out of nowhere. It was just like, it was a blessing at that time, and now it was a blessing. So, just keep what you're doing.
Listen, I'm gonna keep going. Nothing can stop me. I'm unstoppable. You'll have to kill me to get me to stop. It's like final boss. Bitterbones.
You're a gift to the Levihan community. So I'm pretty sure everybody appreciates it. So what is your writing process like? What usually inspires you to write?
Sometimes I'll see a headcanon on Twitter or Tumblr that I'm like, oh my god, I need to write that right now. Cocorino posts a lot of really good headcanons that get me going. Mm-hmm. Sometimes I'll just be like in the shower and I'll be like, oh my god, wait, I had an idea. And then I'll run and I'll write it as fast as I can. That's for one shots. For multi-chapters, it's more of a process. Mm-hmm. It's you have like a seed of an idea, like a scene in your head, and then you build off of it and I outline it, and then I refine the outline, and then I start writing and I refine the outline as I'm writing, and it's more of a process. But with one shot, it's just sheer horniness coming out of me.
Yeah, I'm just waddling out of the shower with a pen and paper.
Yeah.
It's like, I got another one.
Okay. Oh my god!
So if you could describe your writing style to others, what would it be?
I think I'm concise when I need to be, but otherwise I'm pretty flowery. So I like to vary up my language. I like to equate writing to like painting, where you want a certain color palette involved. I feel like vocabulary works the same way. But yeah, that's about it. Just concise when I need it to be, but otherwise pretty flowery, pretty homosexual, if I do say so myself. A little transgender. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so have you written for any other fandoms before?
Yes, I have. First fandom I ever wrote for was Soul Eater, back when I was 13.
I didn't know that. Oh, okay. Still existing, or
it still exists out on fanfiction.net somewhere. I don't know what the account name was. I don't know the password to get into it. I don't get email updates for it anymore, so I don't know. But Soul Eater, I've written for Star Wars, I've written for Fire Emblem, I've written for K-Vi, and I've written for Final Fantasy VII.
Are there any works of yours that you would wish to rewrite or go back to if you had the time?
Yeah, it's not a Levi Hanfic though. Okay, so the fandom I was in was Raylo. I was a Raylo. I was a dirty Raylo. Okay, leave me alone. Don't at me. I wrote a zombie apocalypse fic for the Raylo fandom that became like the zombie apocalypse fic in that fandom, called Lockjaw. And it's what I was kind of known for in that space. Okay. And if I could go back and rework it now at my current talent level, I 100% would, because it is shit. And it needs to be redone.
Good. I'm saying it sounds good. Zombie apocalypse. That sounds good.
I orphaned it, so you're not going to be able to find it by going into my works. But yeah, I would rework that in a heartbeat.
So, okay. So what sparked the first idea that would become your most popular Levihan fic? The end of all things. At the end of all things.
I was obsessed with the idea of Hanji and Levi having a baby during the time skip, because I just thought it would be incredibly angsty and sad and lead to so much emotionality that I just crave. And so I wrote it. Yay!
I really love that fic, by the way. It's really
Thank
good.
You.
Very emotional.
Thank you.
Yeah, I do recommend all the listeners to check it out if you haven't already. It's At the End of All Things. Was there anything that you meant to put in at the end of all things, but was cut out, like from the finishing product?
I wanted it to be longer. I wanted to make it more painful. But I just got to the point where I was like, I just need to finish this. I just need to be done with it. I mean, I loved writing it. It was great. It was really fun. But sometimes you get to a point where you're like, I can't suffer anymore alongside these characters. I just need to end it.
Okay, so is there anything you did wish that you left out of the fic?
No, not really. I think it's pretty
Okay.
cohesive overall. I think I planned it out pretty well. Like I said, I outlined my multi-chapter fics. So.
Okay, so it was like you were planning to put out like down to the T. So I mean,
Pretty much,
happy
yeah. I'm
with
very happy with it to this day.
Did you have an alternate ending? And if you did, are you comfortable with sharing that?
No, I did not have an alternate ending. I wanted it to be a happy ending from the start.
Cool. So what was your immediate reaction to seeing how popular your fic had become?
Happy. It made me really happy that people liked it. You never know, because sometimes things just flop for no reason. So you never really know 100% how something's going to do. But I was really happy to see that people enjoyed it. And people were like messaging me about it as I was writing it. And I was like, wow, this is cool.
And to this day, I'm still obsessed with it. It's so good. I will always recommend. So what are some details about Levihan that you think other people tend to overlook?
The main one might be a little controversial. I don't know. Because I view Hanji as a transgender character. And I know not everybody does. But I use they, them pronouns in my fics. And I try to incorporate gender stuff for Hanji. And I feel like some people play down the gender stuff a lot, which is fine. Like, I understand it's not really that important to you, so it would make sense. And some people are very combative about it. Some people, like, I've gotten some nasty, nasty comments. But ultimately, I guess the main thing I want to say is Hammy trans. Hammy trans, and that's okay. We love Hammy.
We love that.
We love trans Hammy. All Hammy is good Hammy, though.
The trans Hammy is very valid. List off your top 5 favorite fanfic tropes and why.
Okay, smut, obviously, like, I don't need to explain that. Hurt comfort, because it makes me feel something. Physical hurt comfort, because it really makes me feel something. Pregnancy, or pregnancy loss, both of those I love. I don't know why. It's because of lots of pain and anxiety and stress around them. Love it. Great. Love the agony. Oh, fluff. I love a good fluff scene. I love cuddles.
Is there anything you're working on right now? And if there is, are you comfortable with sharing a small tidbit about it and what it is?
Yeah. I'm working. I want to do a modern AU fic that follows Levi Han from middle school up through their adulthood. So it's going to start out. It's going to be a lot of fluff, smut once they're of age. Of course, no children around here. A lot of modern drama and angst and stuff, which I think is really fun to write and a lot lower stakes than saving the world, which I can appreciate.
Yeah, I think we need something like this.
Don't know what I'm going to call it yet, but it's going to happen.
Okay, well, stay tuned for that. That's exciting. Thank you all for listening. Did you want to say any words to the readers before we go?
Hi, thank you, lights of my life. You make me so happy when you leave kudos and comments and talk to me and stuff on my social medias. It makes me so happy. So thank you for making my year significantly better than it would have been otherwise. Kisses. Thanks.
Thank you.
Steam billowed from the dissipating bodies of fallen colossals. Some of them watched on with dead silent eyes that had yet to turn to mist. Their eerie gazes sent a shiver up Levi's spine as he dismounted and plucked his crutches from his saddlebag. Slowly, painfully, he began to pick his way across the battlefield, keeping his good eye wide and keen in his search for any sign of his spouse, his Hanji. Hanji. He whispered their name, like their spirit might come to him, might guide him to their final resting place, so he could afford them every respect they were due. But they did not come. Only a soft breeze greeted him, and on its wings it carried the sharp, sickening scent of decay. Please. He was shaking all over as he picked through rubble and bone. The earth was scorched, still hot to the touch in many places. Please. Then it caught his attention. A flash of hunter green against the black and white smolder of that infernal wield. The frayed end of a cervical cloak stirring in the deathly breeze. Without a sound, Levi limped forward, moving as swiftly as he could on his crutches. His whole body came alive with anticipation, the sudden, fruitless hope that somehow Hanji might still be alive beneath all the debris. When he reached the cloak, he dropped to his knees, crutches clattering to the hard ground on the either side of him. Steam billowed in columns all around him. The earth was hot beneath his knees. A cry of terror caught in his throat as he shoved a few loose stones aside to reveal the charred, desiccated body of Hanji Zoe, curled up with all of the dignity of a dead cockroach. Hans, he rasped the nickname, unable to formulate more than a syllable. He pulled them into his arms. The scent of burnt flesh nearly overwhelmed him as he cradled their broken, dead body to his chest. Hanji! The second cry of their name was more of a strangled sound than an audible word. It tore its way from his throat, bloody and raw, as he shuddered out in the open for all to see. This was it then. This was truly it. Levi knelt at the end of all things, the body of his love broken and bloodied and charred beyond recognition in his arms. He could not speak through the sheer agony of it. He could think of nothing in that moment but the life that had once occupied Hanji's beautiful, russet eyes, the easy smiles that would grace their handsome face. All of it tumbled down upon him at that moment, crowding him, suffocating him, as a piece of him died along with Hanji. There would be no open casket funeral. Hope would never see her mama again. She would grow up with only a father. She would get older, she would grow, and she would forget that Hanji had ever existed. Won't let that happen, he rasped, holding Hanji tighter. A few stray scavengers had gathered at the distance, having heard Levi's noises of distress. He didn't care. Let them look on. Let them gawk at the grieving man cradled his expired world in his arms. Levi lowered his head, pressing his forehead flush to Hanji's. He had dedicated his heart, and this was the reward he reaped. I love you, he whispered through the tears and anguish, repeating his final words to them. Always. For what felt like hours, he remained there, clutching Hanji's corpse to his body. As the setting sun gave way to blood-red dusk, the air grew cold, the wind began to pick up, and the scavengers began to dissipate for the evening. Finally, dropping himself to his feet with a single crutch, Levi stood. His tears were dry, face ruddy, body so weak it might have bent in the wind if he had not had a singular goal in mind. Return home with Hanji's body. They deserved a proper burial beside Erwin and Sasha. Okay. He began, looking between Hanji and his horse. Then it happened. The whole world came to a screeching halt as Levi stood frozen in place, stunned, elated, terrified. Hanji breathed. The same sharp breath Armin had once drawn on that fateful day in Shiganshina. Hanji breathed. Small, rasping, pathetic, but still it was breath. Dropping to his knees once more, Levi felt frantically at the charred column of their throat. There he found it, feather-like and lacking any discernible rhythm, but still present. A heartbeat. Help us, he whispered, drawing Hanji close, kissing the burned lips, tasting the sweetness of the surviving breath. Someone help us! He shouted, he begged, but they were alone. So broken, desperate, Levi clutched Hanji to his chest, despite all of the agony that splintered through his legs, and he carried them to his horse. He laid them gently over the front of the saddle before he climbed up behind them, carding his fingers through the remnants of their auburn hair. Hold on, he pleaded softly as he wheeled the horse around.
Hey Jello. Hey Jello. Hey Jello.
Hello, Jazzy.
Before we get into our next segment, I have to suggest something for future episodes, maybe like episode 8. I don't know. But I think that us little moose Canadians should overthrow the core media team, Levi Han server, whatever foundations, and just overthrow and just go absolutely apeshit and do whatever we want in that episode. We will have anarchy. We just do whatever we want. And I really think that would be fun because there's not going to be any structure. It'll just be us doing what we want. What do you think?
All right, I'm down. Yeah, episode 8 is ours. Don't plan anything for episode 8. It'll just be this for an hour.
Yeah, and everyone is going to listen to it. I know it.
You were so not confident there. I know it.
But I just think it would be very good. Anyways, that's my suggestion, and thank you for listening to it.
All right. Let us know what you guys think. Do you want this? Do you want this for an hour?
It's really entertaining. I think so. I mean, I wouldn't know, but I think so.
We'll just, put that on the back burner for episode 8. Mm-hmm. And I'm getting a phone call from one of those numbers that starts with a letter, so I'm just going to ignore that.
Nanaba, why are you so amazing? I want to be like you. Oh, wow, how flattering. So first you start by bleaching your hair. Hanji, I swear to God. What made you simp over an old-ass man? Like bro, he's balding. No, he in fact is bald. Maybe he did have hair back then. Man's looks like he's been through the Revolutionary War. Bruski looks like he's got children with grandchildren. Now, explain yourself.
Can I hear you explain that the fandom loves you so much? Especially since you were a murderer ready to you do it. You were a murderer. Especially since you're a murderer ready to do anything. Even kill your nephew for power. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. The rat, I mean, the kid is fine. I ain't telling you shit.
Mike, when did you fall in love with Nanaba? Well, it all started under a starry night. Just kidding, it was after we fucked.
Did you know about Inge's crush on you? Would you at that? You want me to physically assault the commander?
Levi, if Kenny and Keith were to fight, who would win? I hate that you are making me think about this. I'd rather gouge my eyes out than watch that. But, since you asked, it's definitely not Kenny.
Are you a little bit gay for the king? But stuff, I'm calling my husband, I mean lower.
What did you think of Hanji when they were a recruit under your command? Scrawny, creepy-looking kid. A surprisingly good climber, too. Turned out to be a good soldier, eh? Got him so fucking old.
What's the funniest thing Levi has ever done as a kid? Sheesh, Levi was more funny looking if you ask me. How about that one time I chucked him in the water? The brat sank quicker than a bag of bricks.
Levi, have you ever tried Premium Spearmint and Lavender Tea? This is a suspiciously normal question. But yes, I have had them. Don't disrespect me like that.
What kind of partner do you think Levi should get? Hold on, don't he got one already? The batshit one with the specs. How are you telling me that those two ain't fuck?
So we have little categories of salt and little cute little names. So the first one is the sodium shipping discourse for just general shipping salt. Then we have Hanji's Gender Himalayan Salt Special, very specific Hanji salt. And then we have the Levihan Coarse Grind Salt, just Levihan specific. There's some that are just about Levi in there too because I didn't need that many categories. And then we have the Deep in the Salt Mine for just miscellaneous AOT salt. Thank you so much to everyone who submitted. This is going to be really fun and I'm excited. All right, would you like to read the first one?
I took a bite of a cookie, so just give me a second.
I'm eating my own fruit flavored Mentos too. So like when they get really chewy, sometimes I'm like, how do I do this?
Mm-hmm. I could tell you were like, I mean, not really, but like sometimes I was like, is she chewing gum?
Yeah, it's Mentos.
I love Mentos. Okay, sorry. Let's go. Okay, so first anonymous submission says Hitch Annie is way more interesting than Aru Annie. Ooh, what do you think about this?
I mean, I do think they're both kind of boring. I think that I do agree. I don't know if I would say way more interesting, but I would agree more interesting than Arani because there's not a lot of content for either. And I remember in the beginning, Armin just had like a cute little crush on Annie, and it was cute because Armin's like, Armin, little feeble, little coconut head, afraid of everything, and Annie's like this badass, and he's just kind of like smitten with her. But then now that we know what happened, Annie's evil. And Annie didn't really apologize either. So I'm like salty about that one. And for Hitch Annie, it's just kind of irritating. But I like Hitch and Marlo together a lot. But Hitch Annie, like definitely over Air Annie for sure. What do you think?
Really, this is tricky because I like Aru Annie. I have different opinions on Annie. I think she's evil, but I'm also just like, I thought Aru Annie, like back when I watched Attack on Titan when I was like 13, 14, I literally thought that Armin and Annie were really cute, but like just as like a shallow little, I was like, lol, what if the little blonde twink coconut got together with the blonde bad bitch? That'd be so funny. And then flash forward X amount of years, and Isayama listened to me and made it happen. And I was like, whoa, okay, cool, I guess. Yeah, I think the concept of Aru Annie is definitely very cute, and I think if they were more moments of them or we saw them like getting together, I'd like it more. But it's just there's not much go there. Hitch Annie's fun, but I like Marlo and Hitch better. But I think in terms of this hot take, I think I could agree to a certain extent that Hitch Annie's more interesting than Aru Annie, just because there's more Hitch Annie than there is Aru Annie.
We gotta keep score.
Okay.
Like how many we agree with.
Okay.
So we'll do 2 for agree. Okay. So the next one, I actually liked Aruri until I saw how toxic the stands are. Now I can't stand the ship.
Ooh.
Salt. I'm not disagreeing that the stands are toxic. I just think you shouldn't let the toxic stands influence you and how you enjoy something. I understand being on the Aruri tag sucks. But it's like if you just see some artwork or whatever and you're like nom flashbacks to every toxic thing you've ever read about it, that sucks, and I'm sorry for you,
Sorry, I'm like the opposite. No, I'm not the opposite. Okay, I like half agree with this because I don't think I ever liked Aruri. Just because I never ever saw it romantically. It was only like now that people started saying it was romantic, and I was like, oh, really? Heck, okay. I'm definitely agree with you saying that you should not let other people's toxicity. I'm getting a call from a random number. Awesome.
It's my turn. Yeah, it's tax season in Canada, so yeah. Spam calls.
Spam calls. Okay, you should not let like the toxicity of the fandom affect the ship or the whatever. And I definitely agree with that. But in this case, I'm like, congratulations, Aruriz, you have successfully made me that person that cannot stand your ship because of how horrible you are.
Oh.
Yeah, I can't. I feel so horrible because I'm like, really? These are 2 drawings and this is how I feel when I see them. But I just can't because it's like they are incapable of minding their own business. If they were, and we were both just vibing, we were both like Levi Hans and Aruri's were just vibing, shipping our ships separately, then like I'd just, but it's not like that. So I'm gonna say I agree with them.
For me, like I like Aruri for the drawings and the art. I would never read an Aruri fic because I agree with you, like it's not there. Sorry, it's not there. But like enjoy your ship,
I'm sorry. I cannot stand the ship because of my experience with the shippers that just, like, if you're just scrolling through TikTok, mind your own business, and then suddenly you see a video that's like, how could people ship Levi and Hanji? It's so fucking stupid. Ship Erwin. Like, obviously you're going to be like, okay, really? And if that just keeps happening all the time on every single platform, it's kind of hard to separate the fandom from the ship. So that's why.
All right. You swayed me. So we agree with this Anon that we can't stand Aruri because of the stands. Okay.
So the next one, Anonymous said, Aruri's and Levi Han should join hands against the true enemies, the IRL Jaegerists.
I thought it was going to be the Aruris, but I also accept that as the true enemy.
Yes, the Jaegerists and the Levi and Aaron shippers.
That's another just hard agree. We should stop fighting. There's worse ships to fight over.
Yeah.
Also, this next one we already touched on a bit, but Aruris are grasping at straws 95% of the time. Like, yeah. I think it's cute, but when I watch the show, and like when I watch the show trying to look for Aruri, I still don't see it. Like Levi's just always questioning him, like, bro, what the fuck? Because Levi trusts Erwin's judgment, and he thinks that Erwin is seeing something that Levi can't. So that's where that trust comes from. But he's still questioning every time people have to die. Levi's like, why are you doing this? Why are we doing that? Blah, 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 blah. And Erwin's like, this is why we're doing it, and you're going to do it. And Levi's like, yeah, I'm going to do it.
Yeah, agree. Because a lot of their stuff too, I've just seen a lot of like, personally, this is just my thing. I don't like when people have quote unquote prove a ship.
Yeah.
You can technically ship whatever you want. You don't technically need proof. There's so many people that ship Zeke and Hanji. I personally wouldn't, but there's no quote unquote proof of Zeke and Hanji ever, like, you know, having a romantic thing, but people just ship them because the concept of them being together is cute, you know?
Yeah, that's exactly what we're here for.
So when people are like, you say, I'm gonna confirm that blah, blah, blah is real because of blah, blah, blah. I'm like, guys, can we just like vibe? Let's just vibe.
Yeah.
So yeah, I agree, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, like you're not up in the Zcon tag being like, this doesn't make any sense and this is why, blah, blah, blah. You can just agree and scroll past it and or block the tag if it's really bothering you. But like, come on, guys. But I will say that I still agree that Aruris are grasping at straws because
just a lot. they are.
But that's not bad for like the purpose of shipping.
I mean, it's not like all ships do this. Not like all Levi Hans are just perfect little angels either. There's been some stuff I've seen where I'm like, okay, let's calm down.
All right, okay, let's open this can of worms. I hate that one post that goes around where it's a picture of Puchel holding Levi, and then it goes to Hanji holding Levi, and it's like the woman that gave him life and the woman that saved his life. I hate it. It's so cringe.
Really?
I was like, oh, this gross mommy kink thing is.
Mommy kink. I don't think they meant it like that, but
it's not like that. But that's how I see it, and I hate it.
Oh no. Yeah, I see that post. I don't really think much of it. I'm just like, I just see it separately, if that makes sense. Like I see Kushel and Levi, and I'm like, oh, mother, son, very wholesome. And then I see Levi and Hanji, and I'm like, oh yes, my fave's very wholesome, you know?
Yeah, I do believe that that's how they originally just intended it. But just the way it's framed, it's like a mother holding a son, and then, you know, lover holding the son again. But now they're older, and I'm like, oops.
Yeah. Well, anyways, yeah. Our fandom isn't perfect either, but we're all just doing our thing. We're all just shipping. And at the end of the day, guys, these are 2 drawings. These are lines on a page. They're not even real. Like
cries into my life-size Levi body pillow.
Oh my god.
No, I don't have one of those.
I would get one though. 100%.
If we could get the Mappa version of Levi on there. Mm-hmm.
Sometimes with Levi has rights, like in season 3. Season 1, Levi, I don't know her. Who is she? She's just a little boy.
Yeah.
I love Levi, but goddamn, they did him dirty in season 1. Anyways, next take.
This one is a 3-parter.
Wow.
This was like the first person to send something. 3-part.
Thank you, though.
Yes. It's just a lot. So do you want to read it or should I?
I can read one and then you can read the other 2. I'll read the first one. So this person said, ooh, hi, here are my takes for your AOT salt segment. Can this be considered an unpopular opinion? I don't know, you decide, but I think Aruri is a good ship and I ship them besides Levi Han. And they said, TBH, I ship them before I ship Levi Han because I watched the anime first before I read the manga. And I think that Wit had overdone their on-screen interactions, you know, like with the way they animated those 2 will make one think that, oh, there's something going on here.
Part 2. But in reality, there's not. And I kind of feel bad for Levi Han because a lot of their meaningful interactions were cut off. When I read the manga, I was like, oh, this was not animated, so they said this? And manga Levi Han interactions made me think, why did Hanji have to translate for Levi? For someone like me who's not good at picking up social cues, I would have to see Levi as a person with rude words, but Hanji actually got him. That time I thought, what's going on here? Bottom line, I think this is my main salt, question mark. I shipped Aruri because of the anime. I shipped Levi Han because of the manga, and I still ship Aruri, but like on the premise that they both look good together and they look hot together. And Aruri fan arts are so beautiful, but if on the standpoint of emotional connection, of course it had to be Levi Han. Okay, Anon has my whole heart. I think that's exactly what I was just trying to say before. Like, yeah, they look good together, but I don't see the emotional, romantic connection. But thoughts on anime Levi Han versus manga Levi Han?
They definitely are, right? There was a lot of core Levi Han interactions that was cut out, and I definitely think that if those were in the anime, there would at least be people who aren't like, how can you ship Levi and Hanji? They don't even talk. I'm like, they definitely talk. They're like best friends.
Yeah.
What?
Mhm.
I also think it's very interesting. You and then Anon were talking, or Anon, sorry, my God. You and anonymous person on Tumblr were talking about emotional connection, how that's more Levi Han. When I find when Aruris are arguing with people on the internet, they talk about how Erwin and Levi have more of an emotional connection than Levi and Hanji. And I don't even know what to think. I just
It's hard disagree.
Yeah, I think they both have. It's just different. It's literally just different. This is my opinion. Levi has connections with both of them, but it's just completely different. And not to say one is romantic and one is platonic. They're just different. They both have the use the word juice, juice potential to be romantic. But I just ship Levi and Hanji. That is literally it. It is not like if I could choose between the two, I like the dynamic between Levi and Hanji. So, anyways, yes. What do you think about?
Yeah, like it sucks that a lot of the Levi Han stuff was cut because a lot of the Levi Han stuff happened in the Uprising arc. And apparently in the manga, the Uprising arc was kind of just a mess. So they're fixing it for coherency, like pacing, making it from a written source to TV or like a visual medium there's always going to have to be concessions and artistic liberties taken, which is fine. I do think that they could have put some stuff in there because obviously I want to see it, but I don't think that people would be like wit in their agenda. I don't think they had an agenda to like push Aruri because I still don't see it. But yeah, I'd say I agree with this anonymous individual.
Sorry, one more thing about the manga stuff. There are certain moments that I wish were animated, obviously, with Hanji literally translating for Levi and just them being on missions together or thinking together. Even the one scene when Hanji told them all that Nick was dead, and then Levi, his own Levi way, comforted Hanji. That was not in the anime. They cut that out. Just stuff like that just you can see a little more of their relationship and how when they're not just goofing around, they work very well together and they have a lot of the same goals and morals and values, even though service level they are very different, obviously. It just sucks. And I don't think Wit had a fucking like Aruri agenda either. But yeah, agree, sure.
Yeah, and also even just from a non-shipping point, they just cut out a lot of Levi's character in that arc when he picks up Historia and like shakes his shit at him. People were mad at him and they were like talking about, and it also cut out Mikasa's thing. The group were all talking behind Levi's back. That was uncalled for. That was not cool. That was blah blah blah. And even Mikasa was like, "He is our captain. We do what he says." And I was like, "Just Mikasa have some like authority over yourself." But that was cut out too. And yeah, there was a really interesting meta. I'm pretty sure it was Cosmic Joke who wrote about it. Levi's relationship with violence and how it like picking up a small little girl and shaking her. It's not good. I'm not trying to defend Levi's actions. And if they want Levi to be like, the popular character in the anime, I understand why they cut it, but I don't think they should have just because of how insightful that moment was for his character. The gist of it is Levi's only known violence and he was mad at that moment when they had just done everything that they had just done. Lives have been lost. Everything's at stake. And Historia and company were like, I don't know. It's kind of like a lot to ask to be queen. Like maybe she doesn't even want it. And Levi's like, hey, no, we're not doing this. Decide right now.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't like meaningless deaths. And if Historia is just going to turn around and be like, no, I don't want to. He's mad. And then like later on, the rest of the squad kind of like see how he is. It was just a lot of like Levi and the children learning about each other. That was a lot was cut out as well as the Levi Han moments. Anyway, I just feel like I went on forever.
That's okay. Next Anon. Are you reading this?
You go read it. I just read it.
This one. Oh wow, this one is okay. So Anonymous said, for your AOT assault segment, do you accept lol? I really think Erwin was gay / bi for Levi, but Levi had the hots for Hanji. Erwin has a little bit of an idea about this, but he's fine with it anyway. Haha, I got this headcanon from the official arts from before. Like I noticed when it's the three of them, Levi always looks at Hanji adoringly or just stares because, it goes on in Levi's mind. And Erwin looks at Levi adoringly as well. Anyway, being a multi-shipper is fine. Aruri Han for the win.
Yeah, that's cute. I never thought about it, but you're so right. It's everyone looking at Levi, they're looking at Hanji, and Hanji looking at
it's like a circle.
Something.
It's not a complete. Wait, that'd be really funny if Hanji was looking at Erwin adoringly. It was just like a freaking. It's not even a triangle. Oh no, it is a triangle. It's a circle.
It's a circle.
With a circle.
Aruri Han for the win.
Aruri Han for the win. I love Aruri Han. This is so funny. I'm like, Aruri. But then when it's Aruri Han, yes.
And it's not even like Levi Han with some Erwin on the side. It's like, no, I really like the three of their dynamics together.
Yeah, or they just want like, okay, if it's like an Aruri shipper who likes Aruri Han, it's mostly just like, I want Erwin and Levi to be romantically involved, and then Levi and Hanji have sex, I guess, and then that's it. And I'm like, okay, I guess sure. I mean, whatever.
Yeah, and vice versa. Like if it's a Levi Han,
It's the other way around. There's one thing I will say that not that I disagree with, but it's more like a general thing, not specifically with this anon. But I like the idea of saying Erwin was bi. I like this. Thank you. But a lot of people headcanon, or not even headcanon. Headcanoning is fine because you can do whatever you want. People saying that Erwin was like canonically gay. I'm like, he was in love with Mary, and this is canon. The Smart Path stories and all that kind of stuff. There's so much talking about how he is in love with this woman. As much as a homosexual Erwin would be so fun, it's just people are allowed to be bi in Pan, guys. It's not only just one thing that people can be attracted to.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah. Sorry, did you not see what I was saying?
No, I just thought you were excited for gay Erwin, but
oh no, I'm saying like people are like, Erwin is gay canonically, and I'm like, he was in love with a woman canonically, and we're just trying to skirt around that because it was a side character. Like, no, he was in love with a woman. Anyways, bye, Erwin writes. Thank you very much. Thank you. And on. Moving on. You can read the next one.
All right. This is from somebody that forgot to turn off Anon, but we blurred it out for them. They said, you want some salt? Here's my unpopular opinion. Erwin Smith is overrated. I saw AOT with some very cis straight male friends the first time. Every single one of them loved him. I did not understand. I do not get the hype. What's special about him? I feel like I've seen the same type of character everywhere. Interest, basement. Depth, basement. Evolution, he tells about the basement. Aruri is a ship that makes me so frustrated because there's a lot of amazing fan art out there, and every time I see Erwin, I'm like, I love that face, like shrug. I feel nothing. Did I miss something? Why do guys love him so much? Help.
Wow, this is a lot. Okay, I know you have a lot more to say on Erwin than I do.
I like Erwin a lot. I don't think he's overrated. I think he's underrated. Erwin's okay. Same thing with Levi. Like, he's overrated for the wrong reason.
For the wrong reason. That's what it is. That's what it is. There you go. It's the exact same thing. Because no, he's definitely overrated for the wrong reasons. Because I understand Anon completely. I see Erwin, Chad, Commander, the GOAT, Erwin, Balls of Steel, Erwin. Yeah, get Erwin back up in here. And all these Erwin being a Chad stuff. And they don't care about how fascinating of a character he is because he's actually not the Chad that everyone thinks he is. He is truly just a selfish con man who wanted to go to the basement, but also he does feel like he's a human being and he feels bad. It's this whole internal conflict and it's crazy. But anyways, yeah, I definitely see where Anon is coming from because it's annoying.
Yeah, with the cishet males that want to be Erwin, like, chiseled jaw, the commanding, the booming voice, the posture. Like, I can see why they like that aspect. But yeah, all the wrong reasons. Like you said, he feels bad about what he's been doing. And I don't know if I land that Erwin is a completely selfish person, but I think that the goals that he had were the driving force that got them where they needed to be. If Erwin didn't have those flaws, if he didn't have that side to him, I don't think they would have gotten that far. This Anon didn't mention it, but I do think that he's overrated when they talk about Hanji's being a commander. Oh, if Erwin was here, like, they would just do world peace immediately. Like, no.
Oh my god, I have opinions on that, but I don't know if I want to talk about it here or in the other ask about Erwin that we got. But yes.
Okay, we'll save it then. I think I'm just gonna overall say that I disagree because I don't feel nothing when I look at Erwin. I really like Erwin. Okay. He's definitely more than the basement. And that's the thing when the show's been on for a long time and it has like a wide audience where people just like meme it to shit and then you forget the canon material and the nuances.
I don't love Erwin. I like him though, and I do understand his character, and I like that because he always came off as this perfect character, especially to Levi, and that's why when Levi figured out his like true intentions, he was like, whoa, what the fuck? He always came off as the perfect, the Chad, the one who's doing this all for humanity, blah, blah. But then when you find out that he is totally flawed and he is just doing this to prove his dad's theories right, it's like, oh, he does feel bad for everything that he's doing. I think people think that he doesn't care. The whole point is that the only thing that's driving him from going mad is getting to the basement.
Mad with guilt.
Yes, mad with guilt.
He has the same thing where it's like, are all these lives meaningless? Like, no, we have to give the lives meaning. And that's like the other thing
he
that
called
kept
himself
him going.
a con man.
Yeah, so nuanced character. I don't think people talk about the nuances enough. Oh, Chad Commander.
It's either that or how he's like in love with Levi or something like that. And I'm like, can we talk about a character but separate them from the ship, maybe?
Right?
Please?
No. Asking too much on Tumblr.com, please.
Not just Tumblr, every platform ever. But anyways, yes. Thank you, Annan, for your ask. It was good.
Yeah. Yes, thank you. Okay, so now we got some Hanji specific discourse.
Okay, read this one first.
Not excited for this one. We're just gonna power right through it because we're not ignoring you, but it's a touchy subject. The first one is the Hanji gender discourse is so tedious.
Definitely tedious in any way, shape, or form. Next one.
Next one.
People are gonna be like, they're trying so hard not to get canceled. Maybe we are. Next one.
For real, we'll do the next one because they relate to each other.
Okay, so the next one said, I really dislike how some Hanji stands gatekeep how they present. Many people insist that Hanji would never wear skirts, dresses, or any clothing considered feminine, and it annoys me so much. Hanji doesn't care about labels, stereotypes, or norms. Hanji does whatever they want. Hanji is Hanji, always has, and always will be. Non-binary people do not owe you androgyny. They are allowed to wear whatever they want, and their identity will always be valid. Hard agree. What about you, Jello?
Exactly, hard agree. There's nothing to hate about that, and I'm upset that this person feels that this is unpopular or salty, because this should just be how it is.
There are lines on a page. If people want to draw them in, I don't know, a suit or whatever, that is amazing. We'd love to see it. If Hanji is wearing a dress or Hanji is wearing whatever or anything femme, that's also amazing too. It doesn't matter. Hanji is still Hanji no matter what they wear. Like, what?
And the thing is with Attack on Titan, they have the non-binary character, but it's not a non-binary story, if you know what I mean. We don't get to know if Hanji ever felt uncomfortable wearing clothes or look at themselves in the mirror. It's not there. And you could put it there in fan fiction, fan art, whatever. All the power to you. But why are we fighting about the canon material when the canon material's not
doesn't
there?
Exist, yeah.
It's not there, guys. When I see fights and stuff, I'm like, this is canon, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, it's nothing. No, it's not. I didn't know about the whole gender discourse until I got into the fandom because I just watched the anime and Hanji was a girl. And then I got onto the internet, trademark, and was like, okay, ooh.
I don't think I found out I knew either until I got to the fandom. I was like, oh, shoot, I didn't realize this was a thing. Okay, cool.
Hanji and Levi both, but more so Hanji, are kind of B characters. They're not the main characters. We don't see all of their internal thoughts and feelings and conflicts and whatever. So the fandom attaches to them and they write and create, whatever headcanons they have. And it works with Hanji so well because Hanji's an amazing character. There's another ask coming up later, but there's non-binary Hanji, there's either assigned male or female at birth, whichever perspective that is. There is straight cishet Hanji, and it's not rude to do that. There's also neurodivergent Hanji, there's neurodivergent Levi, there's just so many that you can do because there's no hard and fast rules in the canon, really. In my opinion.
The one sentence here that the anonymous person said, non-binary people don't owe you androgyny, I think that's very important because it's true. Just because you don't present androgynous enough doesn't make you any less non-binary. Hanji does not owe you androgyny. No one owes you androgyny. It's just and I'll say this as well. I think that when we're applying binary ideas and ideals onto a person who is non-binary, as in they can't wear this because that's feminine and that's bad, or they can't wear this because that's masculine and they look like a boy and blah, 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 then that's completely defeating the purpose of being non-binary. You can't say a non-binary person is supposed to look like this. You cannot put them in a box and say non-binaries look like this, men look like this, and women look like this, and that's how it's supposed to be. And if Hanji does not fit into the quote non-binary binary, then that is wrong. What are we saying right now? But anyways, yeah, that's our opinions, or mine at least.
Yes, yeah. So I 100% agree with this one.
I agree, yeah.
The next one is just funny. Hanji identifies as a gremlin, trademark. Their preference is vibes, trademark. Their pronouns are Doc and Tor.
Yeah, sure, I agree. This is funny, so I agree. Oh my god.
But their preferences is vibes. I just don't think Hanji's the type of person too fuss about the labels and micro labels.
Pronouns or anything. Yeah.
Yeah. Like the way that they have people referring to Hanji as Dr. Zoe, Mr. Zoe, and they don't bother correcting anybody with anything. I just don't think Hanji cares. Like Hanji's got like Titan toenails to suck on or something or whatever.
Ew. True.
You know how like
I truly think Hanji does not give a shit. Like Hanji's literally just vibing and sucking on tight. I cannot believe you said that.
you know how geologists will like lick rocks? That's what I think of.
That's what you think Hanji does?
Hanji's crazy.
I can just see Moment like being like, "What are you doing?" And he's just like crying.
Just bark.
He's like, yeah, he's like puking and crying, and then it's so sad. And then he's like day drinking after that.
Oh, poor Moblet.
Poor Moblet.
We didn't get any Mobuhan salt in here.
You didn't. I would say my own, but I don't want to.
So now we're in the Levi Han like coarse grind salt section.
Okay, so they said Levi would be so difficult to be around. Every other word that comes out of his mouth is an insult, and that's exhausting to deal with. I think I agree. If we're talking about like if Levi was a real person in real life, I don't think I would vibe with him at all. So like I agree.
Same. Exactly. Like he has a special bond with Hanji, and that's because Hanji can understand the weird. But for the vast majority of people, they're gonna look at his glare and be like, "Okay, don't mess with that guy."
Like, how do you even speak to him? Like, it's I agree with you. You're right, Annan. I love the man, but goddamn, is he scary?
They don't call them abnormal for no reason.
Exactly. Yeah.
This next one, if Levi Han was a real life couple, they would be pretty toxic. They're both so indirect with communication, and they would inevitably lead to constant fighting and misunderstandings. I don't agree.
I don't agree either. I wonder what makes you think this, and follow up ask. give us more insight.
Yes, because it is hard to imagine. Like their setting is war, end of times, like fighting for freedom. So if you put them in like a modern AU would like they just have like jobs and that's normal people and like watch Netflix and stuff. It's hard to just think about how they would act normal.
Yeah.
But on the flip side of that, you see a couple in those harsh situations. So when they go to like normal life after, Hanji lives and they just live in the forest together, I don't think they would fight. Like Levi Han constantly bicker, but I think it's because like they both get a rise out of it.
Have we ever seen them like actually fight? Like where they're both disagreeing with each other and they're like, that's never happened. I mean, it probably does happen because they've known each other for like 6 years, but we've never seen this before, have we?
Yeah. There's only one that I can think of right now.
OVA?
No, not even that.
Which one?
It's in the manga. It's after they're training with Eren, and Levi's just kind of like bitching. Like, we can't do this, we can't do that. Yeah. And Eren's can't like transform to a Titan, blah, blah, blah. And then, was it Hanji or Mikasa who said it? I don't remember.
Well, Mikasa was like, don't blame Eren. And then Levi was like, I'm not blaming him, I'm just bitching right now.
Yeah, okay, so that was Mikasa. Okay, so never mind. It wasn't even Hanji. My example is for it.
Okay.
But yeah, like, I feel like if that were to be Hanji, like, Levi would just own up and be like, hang on, yeah, I'd just be an asshole.
Yeah.
They never do the petty, like, silent treatment. They're not actually, like, fighting where there's, like, hatred and venom. It's, like, fun banter.
In the Ask, they're both so indirect with communication. I think even if that's true, Levi is very indirect with communication, but Hanji literally just understands what he means, even if he doesn't outright say it. If he's being difficult, Hanji will just understand, you know what I mean? So I feel like there's that. And I feel like Levi also understands Hanji very well. I mean, there's that scene in season 3 that they cut out. So that scene in the manga where Hanji was being all fidgety and whatever. It was when Nick died, and Levi was like, "Look like you've been holding a shit. And if you have something to say, just say it. Like I'll listen to you." So I don't know. I don't think they'd be like that, and it's also hard to say because we've never seen them just like being mundane before. I don't know. I would disagree. And even if they are like this at the beginning, there is a thing where couples can like work things out as well and grow together.
What? I don't know.
Yeah, what is that? So any problems that they do have, I think if they loved each other enough and they were each other's person kind of thing, like I'd fucking go to the end of the world with you, baby. I think that they would figure it out, I have faith in them. Yeah.
So like they are living, end of the world, high stakes in the Attack on Titan universe, right? But when you take them and put them into like who's taking out the garbage and like, trying to make rent and whatever, it's so like Levi Han are different on very surface levels, but their values are the same. In a modern setting that is harder to see your true values because you're not in those situations. You're complaining that, I don't know, the dog shat on the carpet or, like things that don't really matter. But Levi and Hanji get to see that part of each other when they're literally like fighting to save the world. I don't know what my point is, but I just thought about it and I wanted to say it.
No. We get your point. No, we as in there's more than one person here. No, I get your point. Because you're right. It's really hard to see that kind of stuff when they're just chilling and playing video games at home or something like that. Whereas like in their canon verse, it brings out a lot more of their personalities and vulnerability and all that kind of stuff. I don't know, Annan. I'm sorry, I disagree with you though.
Yeah, it's interesting to think about the difference between if they were a real life couple with like not the worries, but I just disagree with the communication and the constant fighting. I just don't think that's there.
I don't think there'd be constant fighting. They do bicker a lot. Like that's just them. They do be bickering.
Yeah.
But I don't think they'd be full on like I've never seen Hanji angry with Levi. I've seen Levi angry with Hanji, but it was more so not directed at it was in the Notebook OVA.
Yeah, he was angry because he was scared.
Exactly, that's what it is. He was angry because he almost lost not only his squad member, but he almost lost Hanji as well. So he was like, why the fuck are you being an idiot? Like,
Yeah. But then, in the end, he helps them catch a Titan because Hanji was right to just put that there.
And he literally offered, well, I mean, I don't know if he offered. I think he offered.
I just remember that Levi said, oh yeah, Erwin wants to go ahead with the plan.
Okay.
So maybe like it's just a dangerous mission. Is Levi should go because it's Levi.
Yeah, well, I mean, he agreed to it anyways. Like he could say no. He's not a pushover. He could say no. He could be no. Keep in my squad, get someone else. But he helps them because he supports Hanji's research. Okay. Anyways, let's move on.
This next one, I would like to read it because I know who it's from, and once I read it, y'all are gonna know who it's from too. All right. This anonymous person.
Anonymous.
I will die with the heat knowledge that Levi produces nose whenever Noeon is watching. And then I don't get the next part. Then he washes the poop out of his hands later.
Where did the poop come from? Well, I know where it came from, but like what?
But actually taking this a bit seriously, like Levi's not disgusting. He grew up in the underground, but he's like still the cleanest person in the universe.
I think he'd blow his nose.
That's why he has so many cravats. Just handy.
That's funny though. Where did the poop come from? I'm so confused.
I mean, I hope anyone who gets poop on their hands will wash them.
I hope so too.
Thank you. You're totally anonymous Anon for that. Okay.
Oh, I didn't even see this one. I like you. This next one, I'm going to read it because I feel many things. Someone said, there are so many Levi haters in the Levi Han fandom, and I think it's so dumb. Why are you even here? Hard agree.
Yes, I think it is a little overdone because Levi is so loved in the rest of the Attack on Titan fandom, and Hanji's a bit underrated. However, I think in the last popularity vote, Hanji got first or second or something like crazy high. Do you know? I don't know. But still, you can't say that Hanji is like not a fan favorite anymore. Like you can't say it anymore. But people take that and they're like, Levi got so much love. Like let's like focus on Hanji, and they overdo it. I don't participate in the rest of the fandom. I'm in the Levi Han corner. So I just see you all shitting on the boy, and I don't like it.
Same. Playful making fun of Levi is very valid because sometimes I make fun of Levi, okay? If you love the man, but you're making fun of him, sure. I do that with Erwin too, because it's really funny. But if you're actually like, ugh, I don't even like Levi that much. I just ship him with Hanji. I'm like, the fuck? Why?
So you hate 50% of the ship. Okay.
Yeah, like, I mean, the ship is Levi Han, not Han. Like, I've said this before. I think if you genuinely do not like Levi, but you like Levi Han, you don't care about how they love each other. You just care about how Levi loves Hanji, who is your fave.
There it is.
Yeah.
Levi is just the simp for you to project onto while you're loving Hachi.
Yeah.
Which, you know, sometimes it's fun. But you just gotta bring it back, rein it in. Because, it's hard to, like, judge someone's opinions on the characters from a fanfic because it's different. Sometimes you're just trying something to be creative.
Yeah.
But when people post their essays and opinions and whatever, it's like, I see you. I see you.
Yeah. We're not saying you have to, like, love Levi so much and whatever in order to, like, be in the Levi on fandom. We're just saying people that genuinely just don't like the boy because, oh, he's so overrated. Oh, blah, blah, blah. And by the way, he's overrated for literally all the wrong reasons, but go off, I guess.
Also just hate that in general when people won't like something because they're overrated. And it's like, no. Tell me the reason why you hate them. You can't just say, oh, they're popular and be all hipster and like, oh, I'm not like the other girls. It's valid to like Levi. Leave me alone.
It's also valid to think Levi's attractive. It's funny making fun of him, especially in season 1. Oh man, that's so funny. We got sidetracked. Anyways, yeah, I agree with you. And
I think we both insta-hard agree with this. Levi haters in the Levi on fandom.
Side-eyeing you. I'm side-eyeing you right now.
Last one for this section. No one talks enough about how many neurodivergent traits Hanji has. I'm on the spectrum, and Hanji has become a comfort character for me because I see so much of myself in them. This is what I was talking about earlier, because Hanji is so different. Multiple people, I don't want to keep using the word projecting because I think it's like negative, but like they latch on to Hanji in a way because they see themselves in Hanji. Either you're like a straight cishet woman who doesn't like follow the gender norms and you see Hanji as also like a tomboy and you like that, or you are non-binary and you see non-binary Hanji and you latch onto that. This person is talking about neurodivergency, which I do so agree with.
Oh, me too. Oh, I love this ask so much because I've been thinking about this. I'm like, how have I not seen people talk about Hanji being neurodivergent or like headcanoning them? I personally headcanon Hanji as neurodivergent and non-binary. That's my headcanons. And it's just, it's all there, guys. It's all there. Like, I love that headcanon like so much.
I can't diagnose Hanji, obviously. I'm not a professional. Also, Hanji's not real. Let's just remember that for a second. But there's like the hyperfixations. Hanji will get hyper-focused and stay up all night about this thing and like forget to take care of themselves a little bit, like bathing and eating. Like people have to like pull them out of that.
And they will
mode.
like ignore everything extreme.
I don't think that Hanji is socially inept though. Like, when people are feeling bad or down, I think Hanji definitely picks up on it. I don't know if they react the most appropriately. I picture Hanji with Connie learning about his village and how soft and gentle they were the whole time.
I think it depends because there are times where I've watched it and I'm like, does Hanji just not get the social... Okay, it's either Hanji not picking up social cues or Hanji cannot read the room or Hanji just doesn't care and Hanji does what Hanji does. And that might be all three of them. But the moment that I think of, and other than the fact that when Hanji is going on for literal days talking and everyone else has left the room and the one person they're talking to is like fucking dead inside, like, they don't see that. But no, the part I'm thinking of specifically is in season 3 when Eren was going all the Attack Titan and Hanji's like, what are you doing? Why are you, what? The Attack Titan. And then Levi was like, leave it alone. And then Eren started getting frustrated. And then Hanji was like, well, I don't talk to myself in the mirror. What was he doing? Like, Hanji just wouldn't stop. And Levi and Eren and Armin were like, stop, Hanji. And Hanji's like, what are you doing? Like, it's that
You're so right.
Moment where I'm like, okay, Hanji's not getting the social cues here. Oh my god.
There's also when they go to find Erwin in like season 3 part 1 and the fall is cut out in the anime. They just come bursting through Erwin's door. Erwin's not dressed.
Oh yeah.
And Hanji wipes out and was like, I have a thing to tell you. And Erwin doesn't say anything because I think Erwin just knows that that's Hanji at this point. So I don't know if there are any social cues to pick up on because Erwin's just like, yeah, whatever.
He's like, oh yeah, sure, that's Hanji.
Yeah. Obviously, that has happened before because Erwin is just used to it.
He doesn't even blink. He just pours them water and it's like, tell me what's up.
So true. Like, drink some water, sit down, get it out. Okay.
Moblet's behind, like, crying. Moblet's always yelling. Guys, it's so funny. Poor Moblet. Anyways, I love neurodivergent Hanji, and I definitely see how people who are also neurodivergent could see themselves in Hanji, because, bro, this is a headcanon that I'm sticking with.
And so, neurodivergent Hanji, Anon, if you're listening, if you could follow up ask and talk about the specific neurodivergency traits, I would like to know. What sort of neurodivergency specifically are you thinking of? Like ADD, Asperger's, autism? Like, I want to know what you're, like, specific. Specifically, get back in here and be specific. Okay, thank you. The last section was deep into salt mines, just miscellaneous salt that didn't really fit into a category.
Okay, so this one. Okay, so Anonymous says Erwin is a selfish and manipulative asshole. Wow. Okay, we kind of talked about this.
I disagree. The whole way that this thing is written is Erwin is a selfish and manipulative asshole with a period. That's like point blank. Yeah. Like that Erwin is the worst. And I'm like, nah, there's still flaws.
Yeah. I agree. No, I disagree. But like I agree to okay. The thing is, like what you said, point blank, he's just a selfish manipulative asshole. If it expanded on him a little more, maybe but like I do think Erwin is selfish and he is manipulative, but it's to a fault. Like it's the point
to get to where we are. Say Erwin is selfish and manipulative? Yes. To tag the asshole at the end, it's like, no, he's doing it for good reasons.
Kind of.
Kind of.
Like, well, that's why it's tricky. Is because like his reasons aren't for humanity. It is selfish and it is for himself. But what makes it like interesting is that he's aware of this and he knows that he's a fucking horrible piece of shit that should just die. Like that's literally what he thinks of himself. But he's like, I have to do this to prove my father and my theories right. And then it's just super easy to hide behind the guise of it being for humanity and for this and whatever. And it's just tricky with Erwin because he is selfish and a manipulative asshole, but he's also a human being. And they show us that to an extent. So, I don't know.
This is weird to like be in the very middle. It's just interesting. I'm just gonna disagree though.
Leaning towards disagree, but we're like neutral. No, I don't know. Maybe we're completely neutral because I mean it's one sentence and they said he's selfish and manipulative, and I mean they're right.
I know.
But like I don't know. It's so hard. He's dead, guys. It doesn't matter.
All right. Next one.
Oh my. Okay, you can read this.
Right. Sending in an unpopular opinion. Please be gentle with the roast. Heart emoji char. Grilled to tender crispy. I highly agree with the controversial last 8 pages. The message of the extra ending is that there will be conflict whenever there are people. Even if Eren wiped out humanity, they would still be fighting among Paradis Eldians. Even if he only scared the world without wiping them out with a rumbling, his actions would only bring a temporary peace. It's a never-ending cycle, which is the harsh reality. AOT is not a feel-good happy ending story, but I think many people are looking for happy endings, which is why they get so mad at the extra endings. Isayama did a good job in portraying the real aspect of human nature to seek conflict. This alone has increased my respect for him as a storyteller. Thoughts?
Not gonna lie, I didn't really have big brain thoughts about the ending. I just kind of saw the ending and I was like, okay. Like I knew I wasn't like, oh my god, I love it, but I also wasn't like, oh my god, I hate this either. I definitely agree. I did see that was Isayama's point. Like everything that this Anon said, it was definitely Isayama's point. I just feel like the way that it was went about maybe was just like this could have been done better, you know?
It's a little rushed.
Yeah, rushed. Yeah, that's my thing. But what are your thoughts?
So I'm very much like you. I was very neutral on the ending, but I also didn't really read the ending like thoroughly because I was just an anime only before, and then I saw Hanji died, and I was like, what the fuck? So then I read up until that point, and I was like, damn, this is real, huh? This is really real, huh? And then I like skimmed the ending. So my opinion on the ending isn't fully formed yet. I have the gist. But I would say that I do agree with this Anon. Like, we weren't going to get a happy ending. But yeah, the whole idea that people are still going to fight, even after all that, like, crazy Titan battle. It's just realistic, I think. It is a never-ending cycle, which is the harsh reality, to quote this anonymous person.
Yeah, no one's ever going to be satisfied with an ending. Literally, Attack on Titan probably could have ended with just Eren killing everyone. And people are going to be mad by that. They're going to be like, that's not an ending. That's an ending. It could have ended ambiguously, like I thought it was going to end. I mean, it kind of ended ambiguously. I say it could have ended just before Eren killed everyone and no one succeeds. It could have ended with that time loop theory. Like, you know, no one's going to be satisfied.
Oh, time loop theory. It never made sense. It never did. I hate that one.
Really? I actually like that one.
Oh, my. Yeah, they're like, look at this guy that kind of looks like Hobo Eren in the background. And I'm
okay,
like,
when people like went deep into stuff, I was like, I mean, theorize all you want, but I feel like that's a little too much.
You're next.
Right, this person says, Yams went absolutely nowhere with Mikasa's character arc. Even after everything, she was still so pathetically devoted to Eren.
Agree. I'm on the Mikasa hate train, and I'm bitter about it. I hate the wasted potential because it comes off very pathetic. And also, I am aware that there was like some more manga moments that were cut for the sake of time, or like Mikasa's lines were given to Armin instead to like push up Armin, make Armin like the smart one. Ugh, I don't like that either. But yeah, just watching it, it's just, what do you like to do for fun? Like, who's Mikasa? Like, let's get to know you instead of just like lurking in the background.
I do like Mikasa, I do. But it has nothing to do with her character, her character arc. It's literally just, it's something I can't explain. It's like, I just like Mikasa because I like Mikasa. Like, you know what I mean? I don't know if you know what I mean. But I never thought that Mikasa ever had a compelling character arc, ever. Every single season, her character completely revolved around Eren. If you compare freaking season 1 Mikasa to like, I don't know, season fucking 3 part 2 Mikasa, she does not change much. Like,
yeah, there's only 2 anime moments where I'm like, yes, Mikasa queen. Like, it's when everybody thought Eren died. At the very beginning, he gets swallowed by the Santa Titan, but the Santa Titan forgot to chew, so Eren didn't actually die. But the whole episode where Mikasa thinks that he's dead, and she's like moving on, and she is developing because she's like, how do I live without like my purpose and whatever? Like, really dark. The first time watching it, I was like, oh, isn't Mikasa actually the main character here? Oh, interesting. Like, wow. But no, Eren didn't actually die. Came back. And then there was the other one in season 2 where Reiner is a Titan and he's holding Bertolt and Eren like under his hands. And then like they're talking about how like, oh, was it all like a lie? Because like we thought you were like friends, like it was real to us. And then Mikasa's like cut the shit. Like she goes like, she's like, I don't have any heartstrings left for you to tug on. Pick a side. It's either Eren or the bitch I'm gonna kill. And I was like, oh, chills.
It's definitely a dub quote because she did not say that in the sub. Oh, she wasn't as cool in the sub.
It was so good in the dub. I hate her English dub voice though. I gotta be real.
It just doesn't fit only because I'm so used to the Japanese. So I'm like, why does Mikasa sound like that?
It was like the best moment in the dub for Mikasa, and she got like growly, and she got so like, and I was like, yes, but then yet like nothing ever happens, and I'm like, oh, okay, Mikasa's still here.
I agree.
There's no more struggle for her. She's pretty and good at everything. Maybe that's why I hate her.
When I first watched Attack on Titan, I don't think I liked Mikasa, and it's for these reasons. Like, I was like, she doesn't have emotions, and she literally only cares about Eren. I don't really care much for Mikasa, but as soon as a man comes up with some man-casa shit, or Mikasa being fucking only devoted to Eren, I don't know, I will be like, oh my god, shut the fuck up, Mikasa's the most compelling character in Magic. I was like, that's so funny. Yeah,
you know what?
Yeah, she's true. Like, that's not true. She's not the most compelling at all. But as soon as a man be up in her girl, I'm like, shut the fuck up. Did you actually know she's the best written character in this entire series?
I love it. I did see some like Mikasa defense posts, and I could be on board if it went anywhere in the end, if it culminated. But like Mikasa's asking about Levi's leg, she's kind of actually protective of Jean and Armin. She's just like quiet about it, and it's like, are we being sexist? Where it's like, oh yeah, Levi can be bad at expressing himself, but Mikasa can't.
These are good thoughts. Yeah. I don't know.
Levi grew a little bit. Mikasa didn't. That's my defense.
Levi also has so much depth. Because I guess has depth to an extent, but then it just doesn't go anywhere. I don't know.
When you learn about Levi's past, it kind of recontextualizes the way he is. When you learn about Mikasa's past, you're like, she's still a badass.
Yeah.
I don't know. She's a badass for no reason.
I don't know how much emotion this girl is actually showing in this season, and like there's only 3 times in Attack on Titan where you've seen her like so horribly distressed. Obviously the first time was with Eren when he came out of the Titan. The second time was when it was the choice between Armin and Irvin. Like when she was screaming for Armin, I was like, whoa, she cares about him, guys. Like, whoa. And then the last time was when Sasha died. Her and Armin were literally crying and screaming over her dead body. They were literally saying, like, wake up, open your eyes, Sasha, hello, Sasha. And like, I don't know. Those are the moments where I'm like, oh my girl. And then there are other moments where I'm like, oh yeah, because of this, I guess. I forgot.
I don't hate Mikasa's character. It's like the potential, It's not good. Like, I wish it was more. I think that's what I'm mostly salty about. But I think I already said that, so we can move on.
Okay. Is this the last one?
This is the last one. It says, no salt. I just want to give you both a kiss.
Thank you. We've been very, very salty for like 2 hours. So this is very nice.
Huh.
You enjoyed it and stayed for the whole goddamn thing. Here's a cookie. And thanks. Do it again.
I hope this was enjoyable. I think, 5, 10, 15, 22 agrees and 9 disagrees. I think we are not the most salty people for this. Or, like, it's like Levi Han salt, which is just around the whole Levi Han fandom in general, you know? If we do this again, I think we should specify, like, send us your Levi Han salt so we can get mad at you.
Yeah. But I do like reading the AOT salt. Like, when people have opinions on, like, I don't know, Mikasa and Erwin. I like hearing people's thoughts, even if I disagree, but yeah.
Yeah. And just, the way people's different perspective on things, I do just like hearing it. This was really fun. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope we get to do this again. And sorry we're not, like, super mad people.
We definitely probably said things that some people disagree with, and that's totally fine. But this is just us.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you to everyone who submitted. And again, thank you to Drew and RK for being on here. And we'll see you guys for next time.
Bye-bye.